Good morning, Facebook fam. What's going on? It's your girl, Neo Soul recording artist Lahla-Hadiya, back to start a week long of the segment Morning Tea with Mommy. How are you? Hope everybody, I'm tongue tied. Hope everybody is doing well. Let me see those thumbs ups, those hearts, those happy faces. Let me know you guys are good and you are ready to get your morning started. I am I am pooped, but I am ready for the week. I am ready to get started. I'm ready to dig into the topic with you all, ready to gain some more wisdom and go out and be a good product of society. So let me go ahead and get my mom on, see what she doing. Let me see. You, what is happening?
Just having my little
I caught you
breakfast.
eating. I didn't look. Let me see. I gotta find me some breakfast in here in my office. I know I got some snacks or something.
Ooh, that stuff
I,
is
I
hot.
didn't I didn't have any breakfast this morning.
I had a little smidgen of turkey sausage, just a little like thingy. Mm, it was so
I didn't
delicious.
have any breakfast this morning though,
Good
brother.
morning, good morning, good morning, everybody. It's a beautiful day in my neighborhood. It's a beautiful day, period. I think it's going to be a scorcher today. I really do.
Oh, then that's my kind of weather.
Yeah, it's going to be a scorcher. Um, but
The
I
weather.
was thinking about you grandmothers. I think I was told that this week is grandmother's week.
Is it? Yo, they come up with more. It's cool,
Yeah,
but like I can't keep up.
we're gonna make it grandma's week. We're gonna make it grandma's week. You are so unique, grandmoms, and you're
Are
awesome.
you
I know
talking
my
to
sign for
yourself?
that.
You talking to yourself?
And you're royal and you're loyal. I love you, grandmas. I love being a grandma.
Where you
And
get
I
those
had an
from?
opportunity
You got
yesterday.
props. Where you get those from?
Grandma's rock. These, I'm glad you asked. These were, speaking of which, these were signs that this was a part of a bouquet, a paper bouquet that my grandchildren, my children
Oh,
gave me 2, 3 years
I was about
ago.
to say that's a long time ago.
Yes. And yes, and I keep them on my dining room table. And because I look at them constantly and remind myself that I am royal. I'm loyal.
What's in that coffee? She all the way live. What kind of coffee you got? I need
I
some of
had such
that.
a good weekend. I hope you guys had a good weekend because I certainly did. I saw my grandchildren.
Yes, we had so much fun with you yesterday.
We had so much fun. Mm.
So let's
How,
dig
how are you
into.
guys doing?
They threw their hearts up. I got to start bringing you
Yeah.
on beforehand
I don't know what's wrong with my other
because you missed
computer.
all the hearts and the thumbs up and happy faces. So
Yeah, it's not working. I don't know what's going on here. So I'll have to rely on you to share who's talking and who's walking. Yeah.
look, I'm trying to drink more water, but this water is drying my throat out.
Yeah, I got my water.
I'm
I got
hot.
my coffee tea. I'm ready to roll. How
Okay, so
about that topic?
let's dig into this topic. You guys should have some good cliches for me. But the
Mm,
topic is what are some cliches that still hold truth? So let's see. One of one of the most popular cliches um, that I grew up on that I think I sort of adopted as an adult is actions speak louder than words.
amen.
You can say you
Amen.
love me, but I need you to show me that you love me as well. Um,
Amen.
you can say that you are a good person, but you need to show that you're a good person because that speaks louder, speaks more volume than you merely saying it. Um,
Absolutely.
I can say I'm a Christian woman, but if I'm out. in the street or I'm in the grocery store and somebody cuts me off with the basket and then I go to town on them, and I began to shout all kinds of um, slurs. I call them curse words. If I begin to curse them out, then that doesn't show that I'm a good Christian woman. So that's one of the things that I grew up on as far as cliches. Um, I'm gonna take them all if y'all don't go ahead and put none up. Let me see.
Hey,
Benita
I'm telling you,
says,
you just started me when you said, um, you know, well, I just said recently, I can't remember if it was to you or your brother, it's probably to you, that, well, I always say love is an action word. So therefore, if you tell me you love me, then put that love into action. That means you will show me through your actions that you love me. Don't tell me, and I tell kids all the time, even my school kids and my bio kids, biological kids. I tell them, I tell the grandkids, stop telling mommy, and they get insulted. Stop telling mommy you love mommy. I love you, mommy. And then your mom has to come home and pick up after you, or tell you what grandma has already told you 100,000 times. And then mommy comes home and you, mommy, don't tell me. Don't even waste your breath. They get insulted
"My
when I say
body
that.
guy, y'all."
But it's so true. It's so true. It's so true. Mommies are royal. Mommies are truly queens.
And
And
so it's apparent that that holds truth, to me. And so when I think of cliches, and I believe that the definition is about an overused phrase um, that has, I guess, most people have added to that, saying it's kind of lost its meaning. And so one of the reasons why I thought about this topic was because, and it took me a long time. I know people were waiting. It was like midnight because there were a couple of topics that were birthed from Friday's um, escapade. But something someone said in regards to um, people calling each other king and queens, that it it's sort of like law. It was watered down now, and it's lost its meaning, and so it's overused and um, basically pointless to do, and it's almost as if it's thrown out there as a insult rather than something to uplift and build up. And so it's not a phrase, but it's something that I know I do quite often, and I've been asked, not in a negative way, but like just sort of like a as a matter of fact. People say, I notice, like, you always call people kings and queens. And I said, because we are. And so for me, if that would be counted as a cliche, something that has been overused, something that people feel is watered down and kind of lost its meaning, I would say au contraire, mon frere. Because I believe in speaking life into people. And a lot of times you have to speak into existence what you want to be. And so veering off a little bit, I do that a lot with my children, where when they were growing up, if I wanted them to be neater, I would say, "Oh my gosh, I love the way that you keep this room so neat." And it would, they would look around and be like, "Is she okay?" But then it would cause them to want to make sure that room was neat. And so someone made a comment about calling each other kings and queens, and some women aren't worth being called a queen. And I guess they would assume that that would be true for men as well. And I say that's bogus because um, that's probably one of the problems in our culture, in our society, is that we don't uplift each other, and so everything is either a nothing or a negative. And so either you say nothing if somebody is exhibiting something that should be modeled and something that should be uplifted, because of your own insecurities, because of I would just leave it at that. Because of your own insecurities, you say nothing or it's a negative. And so we talked a lot, or we're talking a lot about changing the narrative of how we do things to produce different results, better results. And so for those who aren't clear, and I'm only going to say this one time. So if you have the question, you should go back to what is this, season seven? I mean, episode seven, season four. What are some cliches that still hold truth? The reason why Lahla-Hadiya addresses everyone as kings and queens is because when you think of a queen and you think of a king, you think of royalty. You think of someone who is held to a standard of excellence. You think of someone who is a model for those who look up to them, and are surrounded by them. And so I believe in speaking life. And even if I don't see a female that is acting queen like, she is still a queen to me because that is what I want to see in her. I want to see that reflection of royalty when I see another female, because I absolutely operate in my queenism and I absolutely am a queen. And so when you see me on social media addressing someone as a queen, I mean it. I can't speak for anyone else. I would hope that anyone who is under the sound of my voice right now or seeing this episode later, that that is why I do it, and I pray, it is my prayer, my hopes that that is something that you adopt, because I do walk in royalty. I am royalty. I come from royalty, and I expect those surrounding me to operate in that as well, because they're surrounded by me, and I have to make sure that I am emitting that type of character to spill off on those so that others can be royal as well. And so when I am addressing you as queen, whether you operate in that or not, it is my hopes that you do. and those who do, I want to make sure that you know that you are noticed and I see you if no one else does. So you are a king and you are a queen. There, I said it. That's it. Back to other phrases. Um, there is, oh, real quick, real plug. June 3rd, the Life magazine, which Gerald Anderson, that is his baby. He is actually, I see him advertising it, so let me shout it out. That is his baby. He actually owns a magazine, and so they are coming out with July issue, or the summer issue, on July 3rd. It drops, and the feature is Lady C, my baby girl. Uh, so you guys make sure you get that magazine. She is featured on there. She's on the cover. We're so excited, man. She got more plug than I did. She got 7 pages, so it's a lot. A
Wow.
lot. You want to know about my baby, you go ahead and get the magazine. And it's a dope magazine. It's a good read.
It
Beyond
is.
just the fact that her article is in there are some very, very good things in there. Very important things. Things that are worthy of reading and retaining. So make sure you get that. It is the Life magazine, Lyfe magazine. It's a digital
I'm glad you did.
magazine.
I'm glad you spelled that.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
yes.
make sure
Life,
you get that.
not
Um,
iconic Life magazine, but the up and coming iconic Life, Lyfe. Absolutely. I'm a subscriber And plug, plug, plug. I am on pins and needles waiting for my July issue. I am. And but also spinning off of what La just showed as far as royalty, I've been royal for as long as I can remember. My parents constantly reminded me that I was born of a king. I'm of a king's lineage. And having been born of a king, my Lord and Savior, I know that I am royal. I feel royal. I treat myself royally. Um, as you know, we've talked about this early on at the beginning of our episodes that, I dress every day as
Yes.
if I am royal. I am royal. So that's one thing. Yes. And I have a couple of sayings, of things, cliches that I've jotted down. I'll just say them briefly. Um, Start out how you can hold out.
Yes. She
That
say
was
that
my
all the
mom.
time.
My mom. That was, I guess, one of the first advice pieces that my mom gave me before I left home. Start out as you can hold out.
Yeah.
Okay. And if need be, I'll elaborate on that in our comments after the show or what have you. The other one is my dad was chairman of the deacon board at church, and there were times when, church business can be really, really ugly sometimes. Yeah, we're not always in the hallelujah shouting up and down mood. So my dad would say, if I have to stand alone, I'm going to stand for what's right. If I have to stand alone, I'm going to stand with what's right. And I held on to that even in my careers, with just that thought in mind. You're going to very often have your team members, your leaders going left, and you're supposed to go right. Stand for the right. Did she just go left?
No,
Did she just go, oh
my
my,
bad.
my baby is so dramatic. I tell you, the whole family is dramatic.
No, 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 no. I didn't see. I was trying to be discreet. Now I feel like I have to explain myself.
Just
So I'm over 40. I don't know what is going on. I'm a summer baby, but I was burning up this morning. So I had my fan on blast and it's over here drying my whole face out. And so I had to get up and turn it down.
oh, okay. I thought she was enacting what that was right on cue though. Gee whiz. Okay,
Up
and I
on
didn't
this
even hold
side.
up the cue card. Okay, the other one is this one I could never ever understand until I got grown and had kids. This this will hurt me more than it hurts you. As my mom, the few times I can count on one hand, the few times I got those whippings, with the switch, with all the leaves pulled off except the very tip, like sting you type switches, she would steadily say, this will hurt me more than it hurts you. Absolutely. And I understand that now. When I had kids, I can understand that. It's called tough love.
Yeah.
Tough love. Um, and this one is really like, you think money grows on trees?
Oh yeah.
And I used to
We need
use
to
that with
post
my
that
kids when I
in my
wasn't
house.
able.
Need to
But the
put
truth
that
of the
on
matter,
stickers.
I can hear one of my little brainiacs saying, but Grammy, it does grow on trees. You know, it comes from paper, right? And paper comes from trees, right?
That would be
So
something. Yeah. Mark
like,
Anthony.
yeah, right. Okay. So then the other one is your walk should match your talk. Talking loud and saying nothing. Oftentimes, and you hear this a lot of times, not just in the Christian walk, but on your jobs, people who are uh, uh, volunteering you, to do what they don't want to do, and they're the leaders. They're portraying this big strong leader, and they're talking loud and saying nothing. Okay.
That's
And
one too. Talking loud and saying nothing.
talking loud, saying nothing. Right. And the other is absence makes the heart grow fonder. That is true. That is true. Think back those times, your first love, and you're separated. Either the person goes away to college, or they're in the military, and you're like writing letters like every day, every second. So it's like the longer they're away, when they're away, the love tends to appear to grow stronger. Absence makes the heart grow fonder. That's to say, you have to put that space between, your loved ones once in a while, and you can appreciate them more. You really can. That's true. And lastly, but not least, a squeaky wheel makes the most noise. You find these people, no matter where it is, whether it's on your job, at church, in your neighborhood, the persons that are always making noise, saying, complaining or whatever, whatever. Squeaky wheel. Think about it. A squeaky wheel makes a lot of noise, doesn't it? Yeah. And that's it for now. That's what I have. That's what I
Yeah,
got.
she took them all. It's like,
They'll all be in my book, incidentally.
Lord have mercy.
Oh, Jesus. That's going to be one book, I tell you.
It better be two books as long as it's.
Oh, she got jokes today.
I'm just saying. Like, look. So
Yeah, but those are some really heart, sayings, cliches, most of which my parents used, and many of which I've used over the years. And for the most part, they're true. I'm like, you know what? Those back in the day folk, they knew what they were talking about in many cases. They didn't always grammatically say things the way we think they should have said it. But at the end of the day, that's true talk, real talk.
real talk. That's another one.
Real, real talk. Okay,
Every
what
time
y'all?
my husband saying every time my husband is about to say something profound, he'd be like, "Real talk, real talk." Like everything else he said, which yeah,
He got that from mommy.
he right, because everything else Johnny Castro says is a joke. So yeah, that it makes
Yeah,
sense. I
knowing
get it. That's my husband, and I'm just getting it. Okay,
knowing Johnny, yeah, he has to clarify.
he does have to like start out with that,
He
because
has to
otherwise,
clarify.
we like he about to say something. So yeah,
Yeah,
that makes sense. Um, I captured a few. Somebody said, "Better safe than sorry."
exactly. Absolutely.
And then, of course, which is the golden rule: do unto others as you would have them do unto you.
That's Bible. Yeah,
Um, which will
absolutely.
never be a cliche for me. Let me see. I wrote some stuff down. Oh, the grass isn't always greener on the other side.
The grass, what did you say? How did you say that again?
The grass isn't always greener. That's what I said.
That's a young you get it's
Some
the
okay,
grass,
so
no,
somebody
the
said the
grass
grass is
always
greener.
looks it's always greener
Somebody
on
said
the
the
other
grass
side.
is greener, or the grass
Yeah.
looks greener, is what
See
I
how
heard
the
growing
youngins
up.
change?
The grass looks green. The grass always looks greener on the other side, right?
Okay, there you go. There
But
you go.
then there's one that says the grass isn't
That's the younger
always
one.
greener on the other side. I guess maybe
That's
because you had to
new
remind
generation.
yourself.
New generation. New gen- they were
Maybe
in the
because if
late
somebody says the grass looks greener, it will cause you to look. But if
you,
somebody
you
says the grass isn't greener, then there's no point in looking.
but you sure they weren't talking about the CDC? What's that? What kind of
Hey,
grass
I'm
are they
just,
talking
hey,
about?
I'm just, I
What
I
kind of
did poll
grass?
my oldest two, yesterday, so maybe last night. Well, my oldest
Would
daughter was
it
giving me
be
some. So maybe that's the interpretation. And it, you know what? It makes sense. Like if you
It's
tell me, well, the grass
the way
is,
you look at
well,
it.
the grass always looks green on the other side. It's not really deterring them from looking to the other side. They may not go to the other side, but they're gonna look because they like,
Looks
oh,
green.
is it? Is the grass
But,
greener? And then
but
if you say the grass isn't, then it's like, it's no point.
but think about the old connotation of that is people are always, you have what you have, but you're looking over at your neighbor's yard.
Hmm.
And what you let's say you have a car that's functioning, that's running well, you have no problems with it, and your neighbor gets a new car, and you're like, hmm. And you know what? There are neighborhoods like that where people compete with one another. You know, oh, I can't let him. Someone paints their house. Oh, I can't let them. I actually know some people like that, some neighbors like that. Not now, because my neighbors, they have to look and they have to get a binoculars to really check me. But yes, there are neighbors like that. Back in the day, keeping up with the Joneses, that was a
Yeah.
keeping up with the Joneses, and that there are people like that
So let me.
who,
I'm sorry.
yeah,
Go ahead, Mom. You
no,
already know.
that
You
was
already know your son-in-law on here jacking up, and he didn't put real talk before he said this, so I already know it's just jokes. But he does say this. So you know how you say, "I'm gonna kill two birds with one stone." He says, "I'm gonna cross the bridge with two stones." Baby, I need you to explain yourself. I need you to do some typing
once upon a time I used to have a hook.
because I can't. I really can't explain it because I still don't get it after all these years. But somehow, he's made it make sense to our family. Like we don't even know what
Where's
we
my romper room mirror? Mirror, mirror.
we don't
Oh,
even know what we like agreeing to. Cause
yes.
I've so when I hear him say it now, I be like, right, right. So, but honestly, I really don't understand. Like,
Was he speaking of the Brooklyn Bridge? He is from Brooklyn.
so if you can make it across the Brooklyn Bridge with two stones, I guess you doing well.
Yeah. Okay,
If
son.
I don't know. You gotta let me know
Mommy,
out of that.
mommy got you. Mommy got.
I
I
don't
get it.
know.
I get it.
Um, yeah, keep it. You said keeping up with the Joneses, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So this is another one that he usually says: "Work smart, never hard."
That's true. And that is true. I actually use that a lot during my career days. Um, Most people say, I've been working so hard, but that's the problem. You're working hard. You're burning yourself out. You're burning everything up. All your networks are being burned out. When you work smart, you are doing things and you're not tiring yourself. You're getting the job done and you're doing it in a smart way.
So I'm gonna pin this comment. He says, "Always listen to your wife." If you don't have that cliche somewhere in your mental, you need to get over.
Or better yet, the wife is always right.
The wife is always right. Boom. There you go. That's the hook right there.
If you want a happy life, the wife is
So
always
that's
right.
another one. Happy life, happy wife, happy life.
There you go.
Is that
There.
true, fellas? Fellas, is that true? Like, is it true? Because we don't have one. Don't make us one, but we don't have one to say on our end. But I want to know, is
Happy
that
life,
true?
happy wife. Yeah.
If your wife is happy, then you experience a happy life. Like, you're not tormented by nagging and things of that nature. Like, is that true? Does that hold true? Because the whole point of this segment is we're talking about cliches and we're talking about whether they hold truth. So I need to know. I'm a wife, but I certainly can't answer that. I can't speak to that because I don't know. If I'm if you see that I'm happy, um, Does that make for? Come on, fellas. I see a whole bunch of fellas on here.
Where's Kevin? Where's Gerald? Where's all the other
Does
guys in
that
the
make
house?
for? Does that make your life feel better because
Well,
it's not threatened
my
by a whole bunch of this?
my husband used to always say, the colonel used to always say, um, to his all of his pastor and minister friends, he would, when we go to an affair or whatever, and they're always complimenting me on how nice I look and blah blah blah. Man, how'd you get her? Blah blah blah. And he said, I have to. You're supposed to always keep the wife looking better than you,
Hmm.
because it's he would say that. He would also, one of his buddies would say, just smile and wave, as the husband, smile and wave. In other words, keep your mouth shut
Right.
and just, whatever she says, just nod your head.
Okay,
Just,
so here's the breakdown for crossing the bridge with two stones. I guess it's a backup to um he done made me forget about the regular cliche. The cliche is you kill a bird with you
kill a bird with two
kill two
stones,
bones. I mean kill two birds
two birds with one
and
stone.
make my mind all messed up. You kill two birds with one stone. He
Yeah.
says you cross the bridge with two stones because if you don't kill the bird with the first stone, you have the second stone as backup. But there's two birds. We're gonna let that sit
Let me
there.
tell you what that cliche was going with that. It's like, and it goes, for me, it goes hand in hand with that working hard and not smart. Because there are many tasks and jobs that you have, and I see people going back and forth. It's like going back and forth to put out a fire with a cup of water, versus you got a nice little bucket there. Instead of using the bucket, fill it with water, and then dousing it on the fire. And killing a bird with two stones, although for us bird lovers and animal watchers, bird watchers, that's something.
Levita, if you on here, we not gonna kill your bird.
Right. We have to take a disclaimer on that. But the idea is to do a job efficiently. You can do it by covering more territory by doing certain things versus inch by inch, you know, that sort of thing, doing it little by little. And you take, say, a whole week to finish a project that you could have finished in a couple of days. So that was where that saying,
Well,
transpired.
okay. I'm gonna have to think on that a little bit.
But the Brooklyn Bridge,
Crossing the bridge with two stones. Baby, I'm gonna need you to break that down a little bit.
awesome. Okay. But
Cause
moving
it,
on.
cause the breakdown was if you don't kill the bird with the first stone,
Oh,
then you have the second stone. But there are two birds, so that would mean you have to cross the bridge with four stones.
okay, mathematician.
I'm a math guru. I'm just trying to make this all make sense
Okay,
to
this
me.
one I kind of slipped the meaning of, but you just reminded me, Johnny, with this one. A bird in the hand is worth something in the bush. Somebody help me out there. A bird in
Vanita,
the
what's
hand.
that saying? Somebody tell. I've heard it. I don't remember it.
Yeah,
It's not
a
something
bird in
I've
the hand
adopted.
is worth something in the bush. Yeah, that one I have to think about. I haven't used that one in a while.
A bird in the
Wow,
hand.
wow, and they keep coming.
I
They
don't
keep
know.
coming.
Um, so I had one. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
That's right. That is true.
That's one of mine. I don't know if everybody agrees. You
Well,
tell me.
agree or not, if it don't kill you, ask Fantasia. Ask Fantasia. Fantasia, who won American Idol, she blew up really fast, and she came down just as fast, financially, because she was attempting all. When you get rich and famous, you got all of a sudden you got all these relatives that you never knew you had, and you got all these friends that you shouldn't have had. And with her, and I loved listening to her, she and her husband, as they're talking, and I'm just praying for her that that relationship is what it is, because her transparency has, I'm just really impressed with how she shared her situation. You know, she went broke really quick, bankrupt really quick, because she's trying so hard to satisfy all these circles. Her circle immediately got bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. Okay. So yeah, yeah. That's one of those things you have to really, it's true. It's true.
How about you can't judge a book by its cover?
That's true too. That's a good one. That's a good one.
You can't
How
judge a
often do
book by
people
its
do that?
yeah.
How often do people do that? You know, women, and I have to say this, we are the most judgmental people on the planet.
Lord,
A woman,
Lord,
let a woman
uh,
walk in the room. Let a
Lord,
woman walk in the room.
Lord.
I said it and I'm sticking to it. Let a woman
If
walk
you
in the
gotta walk
room.
in the room, you can be on social media and don't nobody even see you.
Exactly. You don't
Don't
even have
nobody
to
even
be
have
in
to
the room.
see you.
You
They
can
can
be on
hear your
stage.
voice and be somebody the first. You don't even know
Uh,
what you're saying for. It's
that is so
mm,
true.
mm.
That's so true. People, oh my good. Whereas men are just so lackadaisical. They, you know, hey, you know, it is what it is, and blah, 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 you know. But women, oh my goodness.
Queens, we
Ye-
gotta do better.
Yes, yes, yes,
We
yes.
gotta
That was
do
a good.
better.
That's a good one. Y'all waking up now.
Johnny says, "Don't throw stones when you live in a glass house."
That's a good one too.
Good job,
That
baby. You
good
go,
job.
boy.
Yay, where's my sign? Woo, that was, yeah, that's not unique, but it's good. Where's my awesome sign?
So
That
no,
was
no, no, no. He wasn't supposed to be unique right now. We talk about
no,
cliches that
that
everybody
was
use. I don't
awesome.
want him to use his own because it take a long time for me to understand.
That was awesome, Johnny. That was awesome. Yes, yes.
Okay,
Don't
so
live
I
in a
I want to hear about this one though. What do you guys think about the cliche "love is blind"?
You know what? I'm glad you brought that up, because you know what, that fits in the same category with I don't see color. Oh, there we go. We just can't get away from today's what's
There you
happening
go.
today.
There's the opener. There's the
Oh my
opener.
goodness
In it.
gracious.
We in it.
That
Let's talk
is
about
the
it.
most that is the most untrue statement that
Ignorant. It's a
you ever
very
see.
ignorant, evasive.
Yeah,
It's an
it's
ignorant,
ignorant because it's a lack
evasive.
of knowledge. It's a lack of knowledge. It's people, you know, my people perish for lack of knowledge. And yes, don't tell me you see no color. Well, probably looking at white all your life, you don't see color. But
Lord help me.
don't see color when you think there's no way you cannot see color, and you got a plethora of shades around you at any given time. And to say I don't see color, what you're saying is you don't recognize me if I'm in your cohort, if
Basically,
I'm in your space.
basically, yeah. That's
You,
that's
you don't
that's really what it's
recognize
saying. And so it's a very evasive um phrase because
me.
and it doesn't hold true, because it is a cliche that
Yeah,
I
I
don't
don't
see
see
color.
color. Oh my
Because this is the
goodness. And
thing.
you know what?
Um
I'm
you
yeah,
have to we are all different, right? So
yes, yeah.
America is supposed to be this big
Rainbow of
melting
colors.
pot, right? And
Absolutely.
so we're all different. And even when you
Mhm.
take colors and you swirl them, you still see the
Just
colors.
color.
And
You
so
gotta.
there's no
Don't,
way I
don't,
can say that
yeah.
I don't see color and I give respect to my
That's
fellow
ignorance.
man
That's
who
pure
doesn't look like
ignorance.
me, because
Um,
that means I don't see you. And so I
don't see
absolutely
you.
see color, I see culture, because that's a difference too. There are different cultures. I see I see I don't know what happened to her. She deaf.
Somebody
There you
saw your
go.
color. Somebody saw your color because you just froze up.
You disappeared. You just came back in. You
You
disappeared.
disappeared. You too. You froze.
Well, you
You
disappeared
froze.
with us.
But you, like Lovey, like our baby said, mommy, you disappeared. You disappeared. But you froze on me. But you know what? Yeah. All of my white friends, I love you. And I have some beautiful, I have a sister girl and her husband. They are my besties. And I hope that she's tuned in. If she's not, we're in communication. All one of my best friends. And that's another one. Some of my best friends are Black. And I used to reverse it. I used to use that on my white counterparts and say, some of my best friends are white, you know, but that's one for me. When I went to a predominantly white university, that was a common statement. Some of my best friends are Black or colored or Negroes. I said, I was that a few years ago. I'm Black now.
Oh, Jesus.
I've outgrown color.
Lord Jesus.
But yeah, oh my
Lord,
goodness, that
Michael.
is a perfect one. Yeah,
So,
colorblind.
in
Yeah.
regard, I say love is blind. In regards to that, right? So, Vanita says, with the definition that people have in their heads, i.e., don't know the meaning of real love. In most cases, yes, love is blind. Folks will deliberately close their eyes to what doesn't fit their expectations of what love looks like.
Well, you know what? Okay, here's my take on that. Love is blind, meaning you can't see love. You can't see it. Um, mm, because of the fact love is an action word. Love is what you do, not what you say. And I know my husband and I, the Colonel, he had this thing forever saying, you know, he wasn't a everyday saying I love you, but he was a everyday showing me through his actions. When he gravitated to that point, he showed me. He said to me once, and I was in my complaining mode, and what he wasn't doing or he hadn't done, because he was a pastor and he was always traveling, he was always working, and I'm like complaining. Yes, I was complaining, believe it or not.
You.
And and had to choke on that one. But listen, you know what stood me up right when he said to me, have you not noticed the little things that I've done? Have you noticed, you said something a couple weeks ago about me not coming home for dinner, or at least once or twice a week. Have you not noticed the little changes? I also was made aware of that in the workforce, because with the testing scores the way they were in our county, one of the things that the county was not recognizing was the little increments of improvement, and that's in real life. People are always looking for these really big moves, people to make big moves, versus looking at the little baby steps sometimes we make in the right direction. So, as far as love being blind means you're not seeing love. Maybe you need to do love, be love, do love, um, make it an action, make it something you do on a daily, or, often.
So what?
Uh,
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
and quickly, in the communion in the church, we do communion, and as often as you do this in remembrance of me. Get it? We take communion as believers, as Christians, as a part of the Christian doctrine. Many churches do practice the communion as such as Christ did with his disciples. He sat down with them together, breaking bread together, drinking together, you know, and so that is very significant when it comes to love, you know. Very good example, best example is showing your love through your actions versus always, you know, like I said earlier with kids, oh, I love you, I love you. Even some couples, I love you, sweetie pie, I love you, baby cakes and sugar plum, honey bunch. You know that I love you. Sound like a song. Anyway, um, but that it's more important to show love. Show love. Be love. Yeah, I'm done.
I can only smile. So I have another comment when Vanita was a kid in the 50s, to call somebody black was as bad as cursing at them. She said I was born colored. Then when we were called Negroes, James Brown started us being called black and proud.
Hmm. Like I told you, I outgrew colored. I outgrew Negro. I became black. Then I
Okay,
became
so
African American.
moving to another one before we run out of time, because I want to hear your take on this one, because there are some cliches that to me they hold truth because they are what they are. You know what I'm saying? They're pretty straightforward. And I believe some things were meant as sarcasm, like it was, the complete opposite. Such as this one. Ignorance is bliss.
That sounds like a college one.
Ignorance is bliss. And which always baffled me because when you think of bliss, you think of happiness, contentment, like wedding bliss. Like, so how can ignorance be, how can ignorance bring forth contentment? Or
I
was it
think
a cliche saying in society as they look around, ignorance is bliss, like everybody's content with being ignorant?
I think that bliss is not necessarily meant to. It's not meaning happiness as it is, but for a moment, bliss. Even the word bliss, it's to me, it sounds like a
But
poof.
that's the meaning.
That's meaning. Is that the is that
let me okay,
that
let me
that's
pull up
that
let
white
me pull
man's
up the
meaning of
meaning.
it?
Let me pull up the meaning.
Yeah, that's that white man's meaning.
It's the meaning. I mean, whoever meaning. It's the meaning.
Yeah, I'm
The
saying I was just
definition:
being facetious. I was just being facetious.
bliss, a noun, supreme happiness, utter joy. My word, content or contentment.
Yeah, content.
So,
Mm.
is the purpose of saying
Now, what did that saying? You
ignorance?
said that's the saying.
Yes,
Ignorance
we used to
is
say
bliss.
ignorance is bliss. Just like just it's along the lines of um, common sense ain't always common. To me, it's along those lines. Common sense ain't always common. Like, everybody don't have common sense. Everybody not operating in common sense. Ignorance is bliss. To me, I'm thinking that it's more of a, people are content being ignorant. Like, there's no desire to walk in wisdom, you know.
But you know what? That that is partially true. That's true. You know what makes an ignorant man ignorant? What makes an ignorant man? This is Laviniology. What makes an ignorant person ignorant? What makes an ignorant person dumb is when you choose, which is a choice in most cases, to stay in ignorance, to not even attempt to move beyond your ignorance. Ignorance being a lack of knowledge, not knowing. And nowadays, with all of the resources before us, with us, around us, there is absolutely positively no excuse except for ignorance, lack of knowledge, lack of knowing where to look for stuff. I used to tell my kids, I see myself as a very smart person, high IQ, high grades, all that, all through school. And yeah, I plug myself. It's because it came from my parents, putting the best, feeding the best in me, but at the same time remaining humble. Okay. And for a person, the worst thing in the world is to not know and not want to know. I used to tell my kids this. The thing that makes me smart is when I don't know something, I go and look, I go and research. My husband, master contractor, most of the work he did alone. Why? Because he said it was very difficult to find people who worked or who had the work ethics that he had. So he's put together entire decks, entire houses on his own. Okay. And I see that now. It's when and I've been around people who don't know and don't have a
Because it's almost
clue.
like what I don't know won't hurt me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
so ignorance is bliss. Like I'm content with
right, right.
being
You got it.
ignorant or
I
not knowing, because
got
then I
yes.
don't have to worry about dealing with that
Right. I
situation. You know
get
what I'm
it. I
saying?
get it now. I get what you're
Somebody
saying.
says, consider the ostrich who feels safe when his head is in the sand. That's his bliss. But
That's
it's
another.
being ignorant because he's not aware of any danger.
Mhm. Right,
So
right.
yeah, I get it. It's been
Yeah,
years.
I get it too.
It's been
Wow.
years, but I get it. I get it. And
This
and
is
and right, it's not necessarily a good thing. Like there are some certain cliches that hold truth, but they're thought provoking. Not saying that that's how you should
right,
operate, but
right.
that's the norm. Like people say, oh, common sense ain't always common. You know,
Right.
people, we throw around that is, just it's just common sense, but most people don't operate in common sense. You know what I'm saying? Most people are just oblivious to common sense. So common
Exactly.
sense isn't always common. um
Absolutely.
Ignorance is bliss most of the time, and it holds true today, I believe. And that's where certain cliches are birthed because of other cliches that get you thinking, like stay woke. you know so people are like, like when you hear stay woke, it's like, yo, don't be sleep to what's going on. Like this is what's going on. And so to me, out of that cliche or that saying of stay woke, I say you gotta wake up first, because there's some people who have already fallen asleep. And so to tell them to stay woke means to continue something, and they're not there. So I need you to wake up and then stay woke. And so I think that a lot of these, bringing it all, back to the photo, bringing it all full circle, um, before we run out of time, because there is a method, there is a reason, a method to my madness. Um, some of these cliches, especially the ones that we believe hold truth today, um, I believe were birthed because it's a short saying that's packed with a whole bunch of meaning. Um, as you can see, you can take one short phrase, four words, and have a whole entire conversation about those four words. And so the purpose of some of the cliches were for it to be short and sweet. Some people, you talk a long time, it's hard for them to compute. And so if you pack it into this little bite-sized piece of candy, they can consume that and chew on that better than you get in a big old steak, where they have to take it in pieces, and sometimes you don't have time to do that. You got to get it when you can get it. And so a lot of these cliches, I think we need to begin to now dig into, uncover them, and break them down to gain understanding and gain more wisdom of them because we say them. And sometimes, like you heard here, there are certain sayings that I would hear, and I probably said them a time or two, and I'm like, okay, wait a minute, hold on. The grass is greener, and which I believe that's why somebody changed it. The grass ain't always greener because it's like, why would somebody tell me the grass is greener? Like, are they telling me to go? But it's deeper than that. It's like, yeah, of course the grass always looks greener on the other side until you get there, until you get to the other side. But instead of saying that whole entire thing, they say the grass is greener on the other side. And then somebody's like, no,
Was
it's
that
not.
your neighbor? Was that your neighbor that said that?
I don't know. They always looking at our grass. They always looking at the Castro's yard. I don't know. But like the point of it all is a lot of these sayings do pack a lot of meaning. And like I tell my children when they're singing songs, my youngest son um, speaks Korean, so he sings a lot of Korean songs, and we don't speak Korean, so we're like, "What in the world are you saying?" And so he has to break them down for us to let us know that he understands, and that is one of the things that we instill in our children is that don't go around saying all these sayings and you don't know what it means because you could be saying something that is meant to kill and destroy your spirit, and so you have to understand what it is that you're speaking and not just speak it because that's the tradition and that's what people do. It's a fad. And I would say that to us grown folk, we need to begin to understand some of these cliches that we say and be able to articulate why it is that we say them. Even if you come up with your own meaning, purpose, point of it all, gain wisdom. Gain wisdom so that if somebody ever said, why do you say that? You're not like, well, I don't know, that's what people say. That's
Johnny.
ignorant. That's ignorance is bliss. You know what I'm saying? Like you have to, I was just having a conversation. I had church. My kids and I, we were putting up the tent setting up for LaJanae's birthday party, and real quick because we're about to hit the 2 minute mark. But at church, neighbors walked past, they stopped, and they're trying to remember all the children's names, and so I gave them a story of how their names came about so that they can understand, and then grouped them and said they're two by two by two, and so we're quizzing them on it. The husband's laughing, but one of the things that I told them was now is the time for us to start operating in wisdom. And so we'll find that when it's time to execute that a lot of us don't have the wisdom that is necessary to operate. And so what the whole purpose of where season 4 is going is for us to gain wisdom, for us to uncover those things that we may, those tools that we may need. It's not saying throw those tools away, but we've been using them incorrectly. You know, sometimes you see a tool and it looks like it's working because it may fit in that slot, but it's not meant to use with that screw. You can use a flathead on a regular. What is the other one called? The flathead. Help me out, babe. The flathead, and then the other one that looks like a diamond. So the nails, the screws that have the little diamond or the X shape, you can put a flathead in there to turn it, but it may not be as effective. Why? Because it's a tool that can be used, but it's not a tool that should be used for that particular thing. And so that's what we have to begin to do is unpack, uncover, and break down certain things so that we are using the right tools for the right situations, which will ultimately have Phillips head, which will ultimately help us move through our life effectively and efficiently. And because we're now the point of it is to get to work, and to get to work you need your tools, and to have your tools you have to know which tool to pull out. And so we need to start uncovering some of these things that our grandparents and our forefathers have said, because it's not that they're pointless. We just haven't taken time to understand their true meaning and when to use them. So cliches, go back and look at some. Have conversation with your kids, with your spouses, with your significant others. Find out what your take on it is, from that cliche, because some of them hold truth today, and we've been saying them and don't even know why, and they are packed with a lot of wisdom. So that's our time. I want to be obedient to that. And so maybe we'll bring this back again. I don't know. I'm gonna give my mama one last thought, but she got to keep it in 30-second mark so that our techie don't come up and snatch our show off the air.
Okay. Let's see if I can do this. Every shut eye ain't sleep, and every goodbye ain't gone. And that's my take because we're ending this show. Just remember, my eyes, I can't see you, but I am thinking about you. And the goodbye isn't a goodbye because I'm on the website and I will be communicating. I will be responding to your comments. That's it.
That's it. Whoa, dang, I wasn't even ready. That's it. So you know I love you. Of course, my I got to point to the other side now. I moved her. Of course, you know Mama Lou loves you, and most importantly, God loves us. That's why it's important for us to gain wisdom. The tools we have them. We just have to figure out, sit down, look at the blueprint, and figure out what we're supposed to use it for. All right, that's it. We will continue this conversation on Mommy Morning Tea with Mommy page. If you guys want to continue, I'm gonna post the question again, and we can continue to have this on a blog, and see what your thoughts are. Until tomorrow, have a blessed day. Enjoy this nice weather. I sure am. And love you. It's your girl
Love
Neo Soul, recording artist, ending another segment of Morning Tea with Mommy. Deuces.